Hey everyone! In this video, we're going over the process and workflow of designing Instagram posts, editing photos, and scheduling automated posts for Instagram. This is just one example of a workflow, and you may adapt it to what works best for you. Before we begin, let's go over what we'll need. We're going to use Adobe Lightroom to edit photos. Lightroom is a free mobile app, and a new account is required for each user or team member that will be editing photos. An alternative is Visco. They offer really good filters and batch processing, but we're choosing Lightroom because we can create duotones in-app, and it also has good filters, although batch processing is only available for a paid plan. Canva is a design app for both desktop and mobile. We'll rely on the desktop app to create posts as it's easier to work with on a computer. Preferably, the client should have their own Canva account. Each client can then add team members that can create and edit post templates. This also helps with organizing work for team members or freelancers working with multiple clients. Later is a scheduling app for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. The number of users and limitations to schedule photo, video, and carousel posts depends per plan. The free plan only allows scheduling image posts. When you create a Later account, it will require an Instagram business account that's also linked to a Facebook page. Make sure you have admin access to that Facebook page. Later will then ask to download the mobile app. We'll use Google Drive for desktop and mobile for file sharing between client and team members, Google Docs for content planning, and Google Sheets for a content calendar. Later can also be used as a content calendar with our premium plan. If you have a Mac and iPhone, AirDrop will be very useful for transferring images back and forth. Let's begin with photo editing. We've compiled all our images sourced from our client and stock photo websites in Google Drive. Let's open Lightroom and create a new album. We're going to name it after our client. Open the album and select the blue plus to add photos. Select Device if you airdropped or downloaded photos to your phone, or Files to import directly from Google Drive. When you open a photo, you can swipe left or right to see your other photos. Once you've chosen a photo to edit, the first edits we'll make are usually specific to each photo. It could be cropping, straightening, or adjusting exposure if details are lost in shadows or highlights. For Instagram, the recommended dimensions for a square post is 1080 by 1080 pixels, or a 1:1 aspect ratio. For a vertical post, it's 1080 by 1350 pixels, or a 4:5 ratio. Here it says 5:4, but we can hit the rotate button at the top right. For a horizontal post, Instagram recommends 1080 by 608 pixels, or a 1.91 by 1 ratio. But if you'd like a slightly taller vertical height, a 1080 by 810 pixels or 4:3 ratio works as well. Let's choose 4:3 for this photo. Checkmark to apply. Auto usually does a pretty good job with fixing exposure. We can go to Light to see the exposure edits made, or to make other adjustments if needed. You can check any time to see the before and after when you tap and hold anywhere on the photo. Turning your screen brightness all the way up will help you see the changes better. When the exposure is balanced out, it's a good time to add our preset or filter. Note that the approved look and feel will be different for each client. It is recommended that we stick with 1 to 3 presets for consistency. This is also to make the photos in our Instagram feed look consistent and on brand. If you have a custom preset, you can open up Presets, select the 3 dots, Import Presets, and navigate to your file. Your preset will be available inside the User Presets group. We can choose from Adobe's pre-made presets or create our own. Here we can see the different category groups and number of options on the right. Inside Creative, let's choose Warm Shadows. Checkmark to apply. If you make unwanted edits, you can select the undo arrow at the top. Changes are automatically saved when we hit back. From here we can choose the same preset for the other photos. Let's make a custom preset. To revert to the original photo and remove all adjustments made to this point, select Reset and Adjustments. At this point, we're not doing any color corrections, we're just building our preset. First, we'll choose a profile. Again, we can see the different category groups and number of options on the right. Profiles set the base look of your preset. It's like choosing different film stocks in analog photography. Note that choosing a preset after you've chosen a profile will reset your overall look. For our custom preset, let's open Artistic and choose Artistic 5. We're going to keep the slider at 100 to set as a baseline. Remember that each photo will have different lighting conditions. This photo already has a warm orange tone before we apply the profile. The next photo may not, so we'll change the intensity after saving this preset. The same goes for exposure, highlights, shadows, and color temperature. We're going to keep those settings unchanged. Select the checkmark to apply. The next edits we'll make are ones we want to be consistent with other photos when we choose this preset. We're going to add contrast, looking at the top to see the change in value, and only make subtle changes. Let's make the whites brighter. We can zoom in to see the details, and we're going to make the blacks deeper. For color settings, we're just going to increase the vibrance slightly to bump up muted colors. Inside effects, we're going to increase clarity to add a bit of sharpness on edges. If you're unsure which areas are getting affected, you can move the slider to either end, and as you can see on the corner of the laptop, the edges are getting sharper or more blurry. To save our preset, select Presets, then the three dots, and create preset. Name your preset and it will be available inside User Presets or your custom named group. Here you're able to see each adjustment made. Checkmark to save. Now that we've saved our preset, we can adjust the profile intensity or make other edits if needed. We're going to hit Auto for the exposure, turn down the profile to about 90, and make the temperature slightly cooler. Let's apply our preset to the next photo. Crop and straighten if needed. For this photo, we'll make it a vertical 4x5. Next, go to Presets and open the User Presets group on the bottom. Select your custom preset and hit checkmark to apply. We're going to hit Auto for the exposure and increase the temperature slightly to match the previous photo. I'm also going to decrease the vibrance so his skin tone is not too warm. I'm also going to adjust the exposure a little bit and keep playing with the settings until I'm happy. Finally, we're also going to apply this preset to this photo, and that's it. When you've edited all photos, we need to transfer them back to our computer. If you have the later mobile app, you can upload straight from your phone. Remember to save and organize the edited photos in a new folder in Google Drive if giving access to the client. When working with shared folders, make sure to rename your photos. It makes life easier in case you need to backtrack to a photo you've used. We're going to keep the names of the raw, original photos as a backup, and in case we need to search and re-download them from the source. Next, we're going to hop onto our computer and go to canva.com. As mentioned earlier, it is preferred to have our client create their own Canva account and then add team members that will be working on the posts. This is to help those team members, if they're freelancers, organize work done for each client, and to bypass the 2-folder limit for free accounts. Each client will be different and may or may not opt for the Pro Canva plan. Let's have a look at one of our client folders. Here we can see post templates that have already been made. We're going to create a new design. We can either click Instagram post or set our custom dimensions. I'm going to overlay the recommended Instagram post sizes for your reference. Set the dimensions of the design you need to create, and create new design. Make sure to name your file. This is going to be a press release. Up here it's going to say when it's all saved. However, the file is going to be inside all your designs, and not inside the folder where we clicked Create a Design. you may need to refresh the page, and when you see the file, hover, click on the three dots, and you can move it inside a folder. Back to our design, it opens a sidebar where we have all the tools. You can find templates here if you need a starting point. In our case, we have an approved mood board for our client's branding, so our fonts and color choices will be based on the mood board. Before we start adding graphics, we're going to turn on our guidelines. Click File, Show Rulers, Show Guides, and Show Margins. Unfortunately, Canva doesn't save your view options for your guides, so we need to turn these on manually every time we open a file. To upload a photo, we can click on the Upload button or navigate to our file and drag and drop into the browser. To set a background image, drag your photo to the edge of your design. We can double-click to fix the position. We're going to add text to the right, so we need to scale the photo. Zoom out by clicking the %, and drag a corner to scale. Click outside your design to exit. We can change the zoom back to fit. Let's add an overlay to this image. Click on Elements, then click on a shape, and it will automatically drop into your design. Drag to scale, and the magenta lines will indicate that you've hit the edge. We're going to change the color to the brand colors. Click up here to change the color, and I'm going to enter in the hex code. Then I'm going to adjust the transparency to about 75. Let's add a logo and headlines. First, I'm going to drag guidelines to help us with alignment. To remove, just drag the guides outside your design. Here's our logo. And click to add headlines. Since we have an approved mood board, our font choice is going to be based on our mood board. To select multiple text boxes, we can select one text box first, and then shift-click to select another one. While we have both selected, we can change the alignment. Using our guidelines, I'm making sure that my text is aligned. For the subheadline, I'm just going to add some spacing to help with legibility. We can change the font color here. And for the main headline, let's go over some basic typography rules. We need the leading, or the spacing between lines, to be as tight as possible, but not overlap the letters. What I like to do is test by typing a letter that has a descender or the tail that goes beyond the baseline. Then I can select all text and fix the line height or the leading. Line height is the programming or coding term, and leading is the graphic design term. So this is tight enough without them overlapping each other. This template is finished, but when we make a new post using this template, we can copy page and make our edits on the new page. For a different size text, we can make it as big as possible, making sure we stay inside the guidelines. So again, we make a duplicate of the page so we can keep the original layout. To export, we can click Download. For file type, PNG is usually used for images with a transparent background. For Instagram, a JPEG will suffice. We can select which page to download. Click Download and the file will be available in your Downloads folder. Remember to name your file and we're done. Now that we have our posts ready, we can go to later.com. When you create an account, make sure you have an Instagram business account linked to a Facebook page where you have admin access. It's also going to ask you to download the Later mobile app and check connection to your Instagram and Facebook accounts to enable auto-publishing. We can upload photos or videos from Dropbox, Google Drive, from your computer, or drag and drop into the browser. Paid plans allow scheduling photos, videos, carousels, stories, and have options to have multiple users. The free plan only allows scheduling photos and limits the number of posts to 30 per month. Here we have 3 different view modes with preview, week, and month. Preview shows us what the feed looks like on mobile. We can also set up quick schedule if you know which days and exact time you want to auto-publish. Now we can drag and drop our posts into the feed and arrange them accordingly. Save changes, and then we can go to either week or month view to add captions and other details. The premium plan offers calendar notes, so this can double as a content calendar. Here we can type our description and add hashtags. We can also save captions to use again for another post. What I like to do is type a unique description first, and I have different sets of hashtags depending on the post. Paid plans allow tagging locations and users on the post. First comment, which is sometimes used for a block of hashtags, so it's separate from your description, and a more extensive link in bio. The free plan only has a light version. Down here we can change the exact date and time, and here you want to make sure that it's set to auto-publish. Notification will only send a reminder to your phone, and you'll still need to post manually. Hit save when finished. Our setup is complete. I hope you found this useful and learned something new. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. Thanks and have a good one.